Nobody is entitled to the benefit of the doubt. Say that again. Nobody is entitled to the benefit of the doubt. As somebody who has survived spiritual abuse or any type of psychological abuse, I'm sure you have heard something along the lines of someone, either a person or an organization, telling you that you have to give other people the benefit of the doubt. And there are certain people that expect to be given the benefit of the doubt no matter what they do. And so I'm making this video to encourage you to challenge that concept. Now, I'm not saying you should never give anybody the benefit of the doubt. And I want to remind all of you who watch my videos to remember to put your thinking hats on and use nuance, because I see some comments and I can tell that you didn't watch the video or you weren't listening with a nuanced mind. I can't explain or give every single example and every, what's the word I'm looking for, exception to the rule. No one has time for that. And so you have to come in with the mindset of understanding that there are subtleties and that there are shades of gray in things that I explain. Anybody can give anybody the benefit of the doubt if they want. What I'm saying is that in spiritually abusive environments and with people who are manipulative and psychologically and spiritually abusive, they communicate the message that they are entitled to the benefit of your doubt. And that's very dangerous. And, of course, they're not going to come out and say it, oh, you better give me the benefit of the doubt. What they'll do is that they will try to shame you for having a healthy level of distrust. Something else I say a lot on this channel is that trust is something that must not only be earned, but maintained. And so just because somebody had your trust at one period in your life does not necessarily mean that you have to trust them for the rest of your life. I don't think that's a good idea, right? Just like, my point is that um, people need to act in ways that you feel comfortable and you feel like, okay, I can continue giving this person my trust. And so, something that tends to characterize abusive people is entitlement, right? They have this mindset that whatever they want, they should be able to have it, even at someone else's expense. And when you are in environments that are spiritually abusive, you will often hear this messaging about trusting people. And because somebody is in leadership over you, you automatically have to trust them. And that is, from my perspective, I look at that as almost a form of grooming for abuse. Because just because someone is a leader doesn't mean that they're trustworthy or that they are, or you have to trust them. Now, there are benefits when you trust a trustworthy person, but there are dangers when you trust somebody who's not trustworthy. And, as you think about your life, think about situation where you felt pressured to trust somebody and it backfired. A lot of times when people are in situations where they need to, maybe they want to protect their reputation, or maybe they want to have an advantage over somebody, they will often say, you need to give me the benefit of the doubt. They might not necessarily say it, but they'll communicate that through other ways, through certain actions or, just things that they say. And so when we think about the benefit of the doubt, when do you need to give somebody the benefit of the doubt? Well, that's up to you, right? There are situations where you might feel, yeah, you know what? I have a good feeling about this. I trust this person, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then there are times where you could say, I don't want to give this person the benefit of the doubt. That is your decision, right? And just as anyone makes a decision, there are going to be consequences that come along with the decision. The problem that can occur that I see in manipulative and abusive dynamics is when one party is insisting that they are entitled to the benefit of the doubt. And so there are lots of times in our lives where things are ambiguous. Maybe somebody does something, or you find out some information, or you're confronted with evidence that seems contrary to the nature of that person or that system that you're in. And so when that happens, what do you do? And there's no right or wrong answer, but you want to make sure that whatever actions that you do engage in are coming from a place of agency instead of believing that something is owed to that party. So, for instance, let's say that you are part of an organization or you support an organization, and then you find out some things that the organization is doing that go against your values. Um, what do you do at that point, right? So there's the issue with the organization, or it could even be with a particular person. News comes out about this person, they did X, Y, and Z. In certain types of dynamics, the ones that I talked to you about before that are abusive, you will be shamed if you don't give that person the benefit of the doubt, right? So maybe you might say, maybe I don't want to continue my partnership with this organization or person or continue this relationship until I gather further data. And when people, you guys have told me about, this happening to you, but when you do that, then you are criticized and told, well, you need to trust and look at our track record and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm here to provide a contrarian opinion, which is to say you have every right not to do that. And the reason is at the end of the day, you are the person who decides who you give your trust to. It doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes. There's sometimes where we trust people that we shouldn't. And then there's sometimes where we mistrust people that are trustworthy. That's all part of the human experience. But be very careful when you are linked to somebody or a group of people that demand that you give them the benefit of the doubt. That is a way to put you in a defenseless position and setting you up for further abuse. Because what that means is that if somebody is entitled to the benefit of the doubt and they're just given a free pass to do whatever they want, and you'll just give them the benefit of the doubt, what that means is that you are putting yourself in a box to be harmed. And I've talked about this in other videos where manipulative people and manipulative environments want you to do the dirty work for them. And so if you can put yourself in a position to be further harmed, then that means less work for them and also less suspicion on them, right? So when, the next time you are in that type of position, I want you to ask yourself, what do I lose by giving this person the benefit of the doubt? What do I gain by giving this person the benefit of the doubt, this person or this system? And also remember that you can exist in a place of neutrality and say, I don't know. Like, I have concerns about this. I have to investigate this further. Another thing that I'll probably touch on in another video is that manipulative people and environments sometimes will rush things that should not be rushed. And so when you are confronted with evidence or when you're seeing things that you need to make a decision about, be careful when someone is rushing you to make a decision or to choose a side, right? When we think about giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, that makes us vulnerable. And that's not a bad thing, right? If you think about some really healthy relationships that you have, some good friendships, family members that you trust, you are vulnerable with them, and that's not a bad thing. They have your trust for a reason. But when a person is saying that you need to give me the benefit of the doubt no matter what, they want to control how you think and how you feel and control the narrative surrounding their behavior. And that's very dangerous. If somebody is really somebody that acts in a trustworthy manner, they have a solid character, they're not going to be the kind of person that's going to try to force people to see things their way. And so, I just want you to think about that, right? And think about perhaps a time where you felt entitled to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. I think we've all been in that position before and probably, regretted it. And so when you think back at that time, what do you feel was responsible for that? I bet you that there were probably some shaming messages around that. So look at all this person has done. Why would you think that way about this person or this system or this organization or whatever? So there probably was a lot of guilt put on you and a lot of shame, right? Like, well, why would you think that way about such a kind person? And you're a judgmental person and this and this and that. And so sometimes we act against our own best interests to try to prove to people that we're not who they say we are. And that's very dangerous as well, because basically you are opening yourself up to harm just to prove that you're not a bad person. At the end of the day, people are going to think whatever they're going to think about you. And there, there's a lot of power and agency that comes from your belief that people can think whatever they want, excuse me, but you're also going to do what you want to do. And so, again, I'm not saying that you should never trust anyone and you should never give anybody the benefit of the doubt. But I want you to do that from a place of agency and from a place of security where you are choosing to do that because it benefits you and because you trust that person and because you feel like it's the right thing to do versus being shamed into doing it and feeling like you have to do that so that you're not looked at as like a bad or a critical or judgmental person. Remember that in these types of environments and these types of dynamics, people weaponize language and they use loaded terms that they know are going to invoke a strong emotional reaction from you. And so you want to be on guard against that. You want to be careful about that. And you also want to make sure that as you are doing things, you're not being reactive, but you're being proactive. So I hope that information was helpful to you. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section as well. Do you notice that entitlement from manipulative and abusive people? And what have you done to manage that and act from a place of empowerment? So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful day that's filled with peace. Bye-bye.